Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Bridge Towards Wealth. I'm Christopher Klepp, Wealth Manager at Strategic Financial Group, where we help business owners in and outside of their business expand to their vision. We continue to bring on amazing guests who have a unique point of view on different topics that business owners face day in and day out in their lives. Today, we're welcoming Ken Scales. He's the owner and CEO of Scalesology, a company focused on ensuring their clients scale with the right data insights and technology. Ken and I will discuss why and how a data analytics company can help business owners maximize profitability, streamline operations, and help take their company to the next level. Welcome, Ken. We are very excited to have you here on Bridge Towards Wealth.
And thank you for having me, Chris. I'm excited to be here.
Before we get going, can you tell the audience a little bit about your background and how you ended up founding Scalesology?
Sure. I've always kind of had a passion for technology and started out doing fiber optics and coaxial cable, and then got into some web development, and they got into building databases and different computer programming, video games and things. So kind of started that in the 90s, and then got into data more in the early 2000s. And so and data and insights are really what kind of run the world. So it's been a fun journey to kind of take the technology aspect from looking at it from a networking perspective, from an application perspective, and then also the data and the analytics around giving insights for and helping businesses grow.
Well, it sounds like you've been in it before technology was all the rage, right? And you've been on a lot of different sides of it to really understand it holistically and how it can help business owners. And tell me, so how exactly does Scalesology, help us understand really what it is that you do and how it is that you work with business owners?
Sure, absolutely. So, you can think of the three pillars of kind of how we help clients. We're a data analytics, software development, and an information security consulting firm. And so what that really means is, we help our clients through what I call that business data analytics journey. And that analytics journey is really kind of encompassing, do you have that right data? Do you have the right systems in place to have those efficiencies? Once you have that data, you're centralizing it the right way, or you're storing it the right way, so you can get into those insights and then do analysis. We have a team of data scientists that do a lot of analysis with that data, and what I like to call is, sometimes those become science experiments, and they're science experiments until you really figure out how to use it in your business. And that's really part of our secret sauce, is looking at the data and giving insights that are really applicable to whether it's efficiencies in a manufacturing, or if it's looking for the right customers for like a professional consulting firm.
So Ken, we hear big data mentioned all the time with large companies, right? Facebook has all of our data. TikTok has all of our data, right? And Uber, these type of companies that are these large multinational corporations, right, that just are getting in just these massive pipelines that they start to manipulate. But how can smaller firms leverage the power of data analytics and insights the way these companies are? How can you bring that to the smaller company?
Yeah, that's a great question, Chris. A lot of it has to do with really coming up with a data strategy plan. And that data strategy plan is really, what are you trying to achieve from a company goals and perspective. And so once you look at your goals and how you're going to measure those goals, that's where data can really help you make those right decisions. And so the main point is that if a company has a plan, that data can be included in that plan and used to help further understand why are you making those types of decisions. So first thing is, come up with that data strategy, identify your data assets, look at who's going to be in charge of that data, and then work with someone like Scalesology to help you centralize that data, so then you can start getting the right kind of insights from it. And sometimes it is that you don't have the right data. And so that's where we can help you too, is looking at it from the standpoint of, again, what are you trying to achieve and what kind of data do you have? Do you have that right data? We worked with other clients that we've needed to go out to census data, third-party data, and put that together in order to really give them the insights that they wanted. So the first thing, again, is, what are you trying to achieve? Put together a data strategy plan, and then work the plan, and you're going to get the insights that you need to grow.
Well, see, you're talking my language, right? Figure out what it is that you're actually trying to achieve. Put the plan in place and then execute. You're speaking music to my ears. So, but one of the questions I had there, right? So you mentioned identifying your data assets, right? So if we're running a small manufacturing company, where so what sort of help us give an example of what a data asset is that a company would need to identify, that they could make use of in helping to get better insight into their business.
Well, it's okay. So manufacturing is a really good example of this, and sometimes there's your data assets are what you're looking at from the flow of your business. So if I'm looking at an assembly line, I'm looking at how many folks do I need on that assembly line to maybe package a certain good or produce a certain good. And so when I'm looking at that, then those are the data assets from the standpoint of how long does it take something to go through the assembly line? How many folks does it take to use on the assembly line? What is the kind of packaging that you're using? Is it a thin package? Is it a thicker package? Does it take longer to assemble? All these are different data points that become data assets that we put into, if you will, the analysis to help you predict how efficient is your process and how efficient are the systems that you're using to run that.
Gotcha. So it's the things that we may think of as business owners as the normal piece of data, but then it's also some things that we might be overlooking, and then also understanding the correlation and the causation that ties in between all these things that we might have previously overlooked.
That's exactly right, Chris. I mean, a lot of times when we first talk to one of our clients, we like to ask lots of questions. And a lot of those questions really go around process. And so, we do a lot of needs assessments, data discoveries, and a lot of that is really understanding what is the process that they're going through, and then how does that align with the right kind of technology. And so what we find sometimes is they might not have the right systems, or they're entering in data multiple times. There's a lot of things that we look at when we go through that. But the key is really having that trusted advisor to kind of work with you on mapping out that journey so you can collect all those right data assets.
Well, that's great. And so it sounds like, obviously there's a lot that we can do, because not every business owner has some data scientists working for them like you do, right? To be able to parse through all of this information. So where on the journey, right, for business owners, do you think is the sweet spot for them to begin, searching for and interviewing and hiring a firm like yours to help them parse through the data?
Well, a lot of times, you'll see a business that is staggering a little bit, and they're not growing. That's a good kind of pain point for us because we can look at it and see if there's some insights or efficiencies that they can gain. Most of the time, for most business owners, it's pain points, right? So pain points like I don't have the right system maybe in place. They're inefficient for what I'm trying to do and how I'm trying to grow. Sometimes it's, you don't have, you're using spreadsheets for everything. And those spreadsheets just become huge, multi-tabbed. They become slow, they become corrupt, where you should be putting that data into a database so you can actually get some more insights out of it. So converting from a spreadsheet to maybe an online web application or something else so you can grab the data and put it in the right format. Entering in data, another pain point I see is a lot of, you've got different applications that you've used for different things, and they were purchased at different times. You might be entering in the same data in those applications multiple times, and so there's different things with application integration where you can take that data and streamline it and line it from the standpoint of entering it in one time, and then that data will go and flow through multiple applications. So a lot of it then is, and then finally, again, or do you have lots of data that you're looking at and going, I can't make heads or tails out of this? Are there insights out of this? And those are great ways that we can help our clients. And the great thing is, one of our big, as we approach a project, is really about impact and ROI. So I can really look at a project and say, okay, based on what we're going to be accomplishing here, you're going to get an ROI from this within, it could be months, it could be, maybe a couple of years, but for the most part, there's always ROI with what we do. And usually the companies make out pretty well from after we have one of our projects.
Well, I mean, that's great, right? Is that the as a business owner, we're always trying to look towards that bottom line. We need to make sure that the limited amount of resources that we have to expend are going to be able to bring back that investment that we make there. Um, so tell me how your firm could support businesses, in different industries, right? We talked a little bit about an example in manufacturing. What are some of the other businesses that you support, other sectors that you support, and how does what you're bringing to them help them through those growth pain points, which it sounds like sort of where you're really able to help these companies is they've gotten past the, oh heck, am I going to make it phase, but now they're trying to get to that next level, and these things that they've put together maybe not all working harmoniously. They're having some trouble getting to that next level. That's where you come in. But what sort of industries can you be helpful for? I mean, I think data exists in all of our industries, right?
It does. And so really we help, we have healthcare clients, we have financial clients, manufacturing, insurance. I mean, it really goes across the board. And it really is because where are you on that data analytics journey? One of the things that is popping up more is the information security stuff. And that's something I haven't really talked much about yet, but there's a lot of things for business owners that, there's threat actors out there that you need to be mindful of, not only external, but also internally. So and I'm sure you'll like this too, Chris. We're looking at business continuity planning and risk assessments and incident response plans. Again, planning. So when you have those things in place, and you might have a hack, or you might have some kind of a breach of data or something like that, you and your staff know exactly what to do in that kind of an incident. So we're finding a lot of new clients now too that are now taking a look at this, especially business owners. I look at it and do you know all the technology you're actually using? Do you know how many user accounts you have? Do you know who has access to those accounts? Do you know if you lose two key employees, can you continue to run your business? And so those are things too that we're doing a lot with some business now from an information security standpoint, to make sure there's continuity in case there's hackers that are happening with cybersecurity risk, as well as just employees leaving to go someplace else.
Well, I think that that's important, right? Because that you know that I talk a lot with my business owner clients about making sure that the business can go on in spite of anything that may reasonably be thrown at it. And increasingly these days, that revolves around technology, and a lot of companies, not everybody can do everybody's role. And so you're not only helping them, with this data insight, but you're also helping them put together this continuity plan. And then you're there along with them for the planning process, so that if that problem does arise and they need help, they know that they have Scalesology that they can reach out to help them get them back on the path to success if they have a little blip in the road there.
Absolutely.
Well, that sounds fantastic. It sounds like a great value to these business owners. So, if a listener wants to reach out to you after our conversation, what's the best way for them to connect with you? Should it be LinkedIn, email? Do you have a phone number? What's the best way for them?
LinkedIn is great. I'm Ken Scales at Scalesology, or my email address is ken.scales SCALES at scalesology.com. Also, calls are fine too. My number is 312-809-3996.
Well, Ken, I really wanted to thank you for taking some time out today. We will put a link below the video and on LinkedIn where we post this with Ken's contact information, so that if you have a need to have better insights into your data, if you want to be able to maximize profitability, streamline your operations, Ken and his team over at Scalesology will be able to help you out with that. So thank you very much, Ken. And this has been your Bridge Towards Wealth.